All right, welcome back. Now, let's talk about this one. Talking about Nigerian Football Federation. Remember, well, on Christmas Day and also New Year Day, where the sports minister was talking about the federation, the fact that they don't have much of integrity, so much accusations and all that. But NFF president, before NFF president talking about Pinnick react to it, we had a show Diko on Sport Tonight on New Year. They also reacted to some of the allegations. But right now, let's listen to NFF president talking about Pinnick on, kind of reacting to most of the allegations that was, levied against them from the sports minister in an interview by Austin O'Connor.
NFF President Pinnick, is good to have you join us for this interview.
Thank you very much.
Let's begin with some of the allegations made by the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports. He alleged that the NFF does not have respect for rules. I want to understand what that means.
I don't understand clearly what he meant by that, We abide by the rules. If you're talking about the laws of Nigeria, we respect the laws of Nigeria because we are governed by the laws of this country, so we must always respect it. In terms of rules, I personally don't understand what the Honorable Minister meant by that, but I don't think there's anywhere we run foul of respecting the rules of the game or whatever. It's an ambiguous statement, but to me, I don't want to believe what he meant by what he said by that. But to us, clearly, we respect A to Z of everything that has been given to us. I don't think there's anything. But beyond that, we have shown enormous regard for the Honorable Minister. And we believe he's a representative of the President as a minister. And at every point in time, you should accord him every respect. Maybe once or twice, there may have been a slip, which of course we did. We apologize. We are human beings. We are subject to making mistakes. But if you identify your mistakes and you learn from your mistakes and you are resurgent enough to bounce back immediately, knowing that mistake, then I think you should be forgiven. And occasionally, where it feels we slipped, we've come back to say, Honorable Minister, we are sorry. We are human beings. We can make mistakes. But not to say that we intentionally want to disrespect him. We intentionally want to disrespect his office. It is not my style. So I don't see any reason why I or members of my executive committee will not want to give him that respect.
The minister also alleged that 1.5 billion naira was given to the NFF for the World Cup campaign. That money was supposed to take the Super Eagles till the quarterfinals, and they crashed out in the first round. The minister has alleged that till now, the monies have not been retired.
Yeah, it's intriguing to me, because I recall on the 13th of November, like I said, it's a day I can never forget. That was the day my dad died, 36 years ago. So the 13th of November is always fresh in my mind, when I put up a team to meet with the minister because I think I was going to travel, on an assignment. So, and he accepted the team led by Sheikh Diko and Dr. Sanusi Mohammed and the DFA, and they met and they looked at every issue and how to harmonize the various positions, the money left with them, the money left with us, and see how they can fund some of the games we're going to play, And at the end of some of the games, we had already played some, and especially the AFCON. At that point, the AFCON was going to start in about 3 days thereafter, So I wonder, so they said you should harmonize and come back, and they did that. I'm also, once they did that, I thought everything was going to go very smoothly, but all of a sudden, I was taken aback when I heard that, we refused to reconcile. But looking beyond that, just look at the situation of, it's not just the game, the World Cup, pre-World Cup preparation. At least for the first time, our World Cup preparation was faultless. Nobody talked about the money, $2.8 million that we give to the Super Eagles. We have to write to FIFA. We have to use our relationship with FIFA, not just to get for Nigeria, but the 5 African countries are qualified. $2 million each. We have to look at our, at our finances internally. We took some from Coca-Cola. We took some from, one of our other sponsors, put $800,000 together and paid the Super Eagles. We even paid Sunday Olise. Every coach or player that participated pre-World Cup campaign, well paid. There was no noise about that. Nobody talked about scandal. Nobody talked about retirement at that point. What about the various matches? Nigeria-Argentina, Nigeria-Serbia, Nigeria-Poland, DRC. We played a couple of matches leading to the World Cup. Where was those funds coming from? Admit, we got $1.5 million from FIFA. We also raised a lot of money in ensuring that we don't just go there to participate, quality and faultless preparation. And that's what we did. The same charter that took Liverpool to play in the Champions League finals is the same charter that came to Nigeria to take the Super Eagles to London. Then another charter took them again from London to Austria, then from Austria to, and there are a lot of things. And even after that, when they crashed out, I walked up to the minister in presence of the chairman of the Committee on Sports, and I appealed to him that, listen, they've crashed out, they did very well, we're happy, there are some things that we take on, we'll learn, and that can he authorize that I should get a charter to take them back to Nigeria? And he said, yes, I should go ahead and do that, Now, what I called our consultant, because then that was the heat of the World Cup. So there were a few planes that were around, And the cost they gave us was close to $500,000 US, about 460 something. Then if you add plus or minus, it's going to be about 500. So I went back again to the minister and said, listen, this might be too expensive. Let me talk to the boys. We've crashed out. Let's see how we can save money. I went to him again and I told him they can fly individually. So we now got tickets for all of them to fly. That was not in the budget originally. So there are so many things that they needed to iron out at that critical point. So, but you see, when we find it we are always very reluctant to join us with the minister because it's the minister. But indeed, we also need to protect our integrity appreciably. We need to, because to us, we believe if we have a future in this game, we should always, at every point in time, not joining wars, not try to disrespect him, but point out issues as they are. And that's exactly what has been. So I don't know where this is coming from. I personally don't know where this is coming from, but I just believe a lot of people are talking to the minister. I've had an amazing relationship with the minister. The minister has come out in the open to say, oh, this NFF is different. In the past, this NFF, in everything that we get, we write to him. It's not because we are obliged to do that, just because of our level of transparency. We want to do it. We want the world to see that. Because for the corporates to appreciate what you're doing, you must have an appreciable level of integrity. You heard when they came, when we hosted them, there's nothing anybody will say to our sponsors, the one we have right now, that will discourage them from sponsoring us. Guess what? They also conduct their own security, eligibility, and intelligence check on the principal actors of the federation before they even go into any business with them. If you think you are trying to discourage our sponsors by all these innuendos, all these falsehood, outright blatant falsehood, then it's unfortunate. Because there's nothing, for example, you will tell FIFA about Pinnick, about Shehu Diko, or Justice Phillips. Three of us went through a very thorough scrutiny with the FIFA integrity test. And of course, it's in line with the matter of anti-corruption of the government. And we passed. Not everybody passed. I remember when I did mine, we were like 52. Only about 22 people passed the integrity test. Why? Because they go deep. They use international agencies. International agencies, I can give you the name, they will come to Nigeria unknown to you, they will go to all your records, everything that you've got. If you didn't get anything legitimately, you failed the test. Very thorough test. So we can't pass all those tests and whom we are being seen as if we are a bunch of criminals. It's unfair because we put in a lot. We are driven by passion. That's what people should understand in this country. I don't have anything. Sorry, trust me, I don't have anything against the Honorable Minister. To me, he's an amazing guy. We've had a relationship in the past. To me, I'll tell you the truth. But I don't just know where all these things are coming from. But like I said every morning, I pray to God for God to open our eyes, for us to know who are our friends and who are our enemies. Our enemies, don't discard them. Pray for them and let them change. And that's what I do every day.
Yeah, that's the president of Nigeria Football Federation reacting to comments from the sports minister, Solomon Dalong. Rotimi Akindele is in the studio. Rotimi, Happy New Year and good morning to you.
Happy New Year, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, you heard some of the comments coming from, you listened to the ministers on before and comments, reactions, from Amaji Pinnick
So,
now. Just summarize everything. What do you make of it?
Of all, even though you don't want to talk about it, I know.
Yeah.
What do you make of all?
If it's
Yeah, but I think I'm going to use one word, probably miscommunication.
Okay.
Maybe. From the minister's allegations or statement now about not retiring funds from the World Cup or the remaining part of the funds from the World Cup and all of that. And then the NFF also coming out. I've listened to Pinnick, Deco, and looks like they're all on the same page about on this particular date, a date in November to be precise. We met with you, you accepted our team, but going forward from that meeting, I mean, the aftermath of that meeting is what we don't know, and probably that's what has bet all of this issue. So I think it's just, I'll just sum it up as miscommunication between both parties. And the earlier the better for us to resolve it. If the NFF is claiming that we have retired funds, it's left for you to proofread or correct and then harmonize everything and then move on. Then let's wait for the minister to do that.
On the whole, listen to both parties. Are there issues that need urgent attention in Nigerian sports? Let's make it a blanket like that. Are there issues? You listen to Sports Minister Barrister Solomon Lala. I mean, apart from this retirement of funds, there were so many other things.
More to come. There's more to come on this interview.
Yeah, there's so many things that he said. And you listen to the NFF put up their own defense. But you look at all of these issues. Don't you think that there are some things that need to be attended to? Give urgency, so to speak.
Well, of course, if it's Nigerian sports, a lot of things need urgent attention.
Correct.
And one of the urgent solutions we tried to create was to do the National Sports Festival, despite all its hiccups and all of that. Those are part of some urgent solutions we were trying to seek. Okay. But I still feel if the Ministry of Sports or maybe the federal government as a whole doesn't have a sports policy for a nation, we will keep having all those problems. If there was a sports policy on ground, if we had a template, even if CC is going to be the next sports minister tomorrow, she knows these things are already defined, this is how we should work and all of that. We won't be having all these issues. It won't come to personal differences of, I don't like you, you don't like me, and all of that.
Okay, you think this is all about personality contest and not the sport itself?
Most of the issues we have in Nigerian sports are personality-based. It's not about the sport itself. It's not about the sport. It
simply means the sport is not better off. It's just about the people who live.
It's just about the people, because if you had a sports policy in Nigeria that's working, all we had to do was to create a sporting ambience. I mean, just create the facilities on ground. If I were a badminton player,
it wouldn't matter
or
who
a
was
cricketer
there.
Or something, it wouldn't matter who was there. The facilities are there for us to all work with and all of that. If we don't have that on ground in Nigeria, then we keep having issues, and then it will boil down to, and you probably blame people that says, oh, Mr. A does not like Mr. B. So I think that's what we're still experiencing now, until we have that sort of policy or that sort of template.
But how easy will it be, or how difficult is it to actually achieve that? Just knowing that the focus will now be on the athletes and not on the administrators. Because from what we have here in Nigeria, I mean, almost everyone, people know who the sports minister is. You know who the NFF president is.
They're more popular.
They're more popular than the players. Now, someone actually said, someone who follows football very much, he says he cannot even name 5 players in Nigerian Professional Football League.
It still boils down to the same thing, really. It's easier for us as sport journalists if we had, say, some sporting centers or sporting facilities in Lagos, for instance. We go there almost every day. Yeah. We see talents. Yeah. We try to monitor. We try to report them, do interviews, monitor their progress. You have standard coaches, meeting up working with a particular criteria to nurture this talent. It's easier for us, by the time we're reporting such, to put it in the face of the people. And then they can know Etosin Omoyele left COD, went to Osun United, went to Plateau United, and now he's gone to Egypt. But if I mention that to another person, like, who is Tosin Omoyele? So you have a lot of, there are a lot of ways we can go about this thing to make it right. But it still boils down to whatever is trickling down from the top. If the top is not ready to correct the wrongs, and don't let me, I'll put it again. Let me blow your mind a bit. It's not going to be corrected over the night. It's been a problem.
Next 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a long-term solution.
All right. So hopefully the right things will be done, and there'll be some sanity in Nigerian sports. Let's go on a break now. When we return from that break, there's still much to talk about on the domestic scene. Join us again.